Alright, hello. I have not made a video in a very long time, but tomorrow is, or rather today, because it's like 12:40, is East versus West 19, Strongest Arm on Earth competition in Colorado. This time leading up to this competition, I didn't do much preparation. But still, I'm very interested in the event. I don't know if I'll get pay-per-view or not, but I'm just going to make my predictions. This will just be a short video so I can get them out there. I'll just jump right into it. So, well, first of all, there's been a lot of controversy happening lately, but I'm glad this event is taking place, and hopefully, with Brian's coordination with East versus West, we can get the sport to more people, which is where we're hoping it'll go. Just allowing the sport to grow and continue to reach more and more people, and I think this is a great way to do it with this collaboration. First match, Sari Brown and Derek Smith. I haven't been following Derek Smith lately, but I'm sure since the last time I was watching him, which was early East versus West, he has gotten a lot stronger. I'm sure. I mean, he's the best in California now, I think, which means he's one of the best in America, which means he's one of the best in the world to an extent. Sari Brown, everyone knows him because he's the training partner of Brian Shaw. He has experience arm wrestling, and people would say Derek has plenty more experience, and that's true, but when you go up against someone as strong as Brian Shaw, every practice, that leaves a lasting effect, and I think that Sari has grown a lot. For this one, it's a good match, but honestly, I give it to Derek Smith. I think 3-1. Derek Smith, I think that's a good one. A good prediction. Next match is Lawrence. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. And then Martins Likas. Two strongmen. They've competed together a bunch. Both of them not very... They're going to show up, and it's going to look probably worse than when Brian Shaw competed at King of the Table 14, or not 14, 13. Neither one of them is very experienced, and neither one of them has been working at this for a very long time. So hopefully no injuries occur, but it'll be interesting. I'm going to give it to Marcus, just because as far as I've seen, I'm able to review more footage for Marcus, and he looks pretty good. I'm going to give it to him 3-0, or actually, no, let's make it 3-2, since they're so close, I think, in experience. They should be pretty close in strength and power, so I'll give it to Marcus, and that'll be 3-2, close as it can be. Right arm, not super heavyweight, but Gabriella versus Jocelyn. That's a good match. I just think Gabby 3-0. Jocelyn has apparently been doing this longer than I thought, but she has specified for herself during the press conference earlier that she has really had 14 months of good arm wrestling, considering that she is still a baby in the sport, technically. What she did against Sarah Backman was very impressive, but then when she fought Igla, it was very obvious at that point that there was a very big gap in experience and in a lot of ways strengths. Because if it was all about strength, Jocelyn would have won that match. But Agla is just multiple world champion. You can't beat that kind of experience. She is very strong, and it just showed the strength gap, especially in the setup. Jocelyn was very uncomfortable, and it's just how it is. But I definitely give it to Gabby. She is who she is for a reason. She is that good. In my opinion, the greatest female arm wrestler ever, or at least the greatest today. Not to take away from Barbara, but Gabby is really good. I don't think it'll be easy for either one of them, but I think Gabby is going to win big time, 3-0. Next match, let's go Rykard Borman, Pavlo Derbedev. This is a tough one because I'm not very familiar with Rykard. The only thing I'm really familiar with, I've seen his match with Brett Coots. Oh my gosh, just hold on. If you can even see, just looking at that forearm, that is crazy. I don't know if that's doctored or photoshopped, but the thing is, Rykard's huge. He is a very, very tall individual. And I think that he is very, very strong for his age, especially. Again, I don't know much about him, and I haven't seen him fight an opponent that I can really gauge where he's at. Whereas, like, when I was predicting his match with Wallace, I had a much better grasp on who Wallace was because he fought Marcio Barboza, and obviously we all know a lot more about Marcio than we do about, Wallace. Meanwhile, Rykard, he's fought Brett Coots, he's fought Wallace Dilly, he's fought a couple other people, but overall I just don't have much knowledge of him. I don't know too much of him. But Pavlo, I do know decently well. Still, I don't know too much about Pavlo, but Pavlo looked really, really strong, and he just showed up for his match with Wagner. I'm gonna give it to Pavlo 3-1. 3-1 Pavlo. Not an easy match, again, for either person. I think Pavlo is just in a really, really strong form right now. And Rykard, I love his commitment. He has quit his job. He has gone all in. He is starting to just live arm wrestling, which is always super impressive. That a man that young would make that jump. Very, very impressive. But I think Rykard still needs more time to develop and grow. I'll give it to Pavlo. 3-1. Another right arm super heavyweight, which when this match was announced, I was so upset and confused. Matt Mask versus Philip Larson. I feel that Matt Mask has deserved the title shot with Devin in the 105 kilo category. He's deserved that title shot for a year. Like, everything, I think, honestly, leading after he beat Keter Gelly, I think he was just deserving immediately after that match that he beat Keter Gelly in that dominant fashion. And I don't think that was the strongest Keter Gelly Ungerbaev we've ever seen, but Matt beat him really, really bad. So I thought Matt immediately, like, he's going straight to Devin. Like, when Devin comes down from super heavyweight, he's going to fight Matt. And that'll be a super awesome match. But now it looks like we're just throwing Matt as many random opponents as possible, just trying to keep him out of that title shot. And I'm just wondering why. Like, yes, in order for Matt to have the title match, Devin has to come from super heavyweight. He's had all these left-handed matches, and he's aiming for Vitali right-handed, and then probably Hermes, and then who knows, maybe Levon. But I think it's just unfair that Matt hasn't had his shot yet. He's more than deserved it, in my opinion. He's had, I think, 10 matches in the past, year and a half. 10 matches. And of those 10, he has won 8 and lost 2. That's really impressive. Because, there's Derek Smith, Ron Bath, Wagner, Lars, Barbosa, Keter Gallagher-Bayev. And then he won left-handed in the Challenger Series and left-handed against Irakli. I get those are left-handed and the right would be the title match, but still, 8 matches he's won in the past year and a half since the start of last year. And the only 2 he's lost to are Brad Grundy, which was surprising for me, and Nugo. Now, people can argue he was unprepared for Nugo. I think the strength gap was very visible. It would have been a much better match if Matt had fully prepared for it, but still, Nugo absolutely beat him. I'm going to give it to Philip. It's just unfortunate. When this match was announced, I was so confused. Why is this a match? Matt is being pulled from the 105 that he has been doing for the past year and a half, and suddenly we're just throwing him a super heavyweight. A guy who's 6'6", and what is he, 330 or something pounds? Huge guy who just beat Sandras and everything. I had no idea why this match was a thing. But then I heard in the interview over the, just the interview, he actually said that they just called him and was like, Philip doesn't have a opponent, and Matt just took the match. So I guess it wasn't meant to happen this way, but we'll see. If Matt wins, holy crap, just will speak more volumes to how strong Matt is, but I wouldn't be surprised if Philip ran him over. Philip is really big, really strong, and honestly is a prospect for super heavyweight. Really is. I'll give it to Philip Larson 3-1 because Matt is so difficult to deal with technically. So I'll give Matt not a pity point, but I'll give him a point. We'll do Eddie Hall, Robert Oberst, super heavyweight right arm. I know basically nothing about Robert. And that's not true. I have been following Brian Shaw, Robert Oberst, Eddie Hall, Nick Best, that group of 4 guys, strongmen. I have watched a lot of their content, even before arm wrestling. And now to see them, as I was a fan prior to them entering arm wrestling, and suddenly all of them, except for Nick, are entering into the sport, even just seeing this, where you have all of them, Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall, Robert Oberst, all of them just sitting in a row on a card for arm wrestling is so surreal to me, because I've been watching them for so long. It's crazy. I haven't seen much footage with Oberst except for when he was just starting. Eddie, obviously, we have a lot of footage because of his training and because of his match with Brian Shaw. Honestly, looking at Eddie, he is super technical. Really impressive. And if he's had more time to work, Eddie's really dangerous. But Oberst, I've heard, has seemed really, really strong. It could go either way, but I'm going to say Eddie because I'm more familiar with his style and his abilities, and I think that he is really, really good. If he shows up better than he did against Brian Shaw, which I'm sure he will, we'll see, but that's going to be a good match. That's a good one. Really excited for it. Todd Hutchings, Dave Chafee, right arm heavyweight. I was a little confused with this one too because, yeah, Todd, obviously, because Todd's 95 kilo world champion and Dave is making the jump down to 115. So you've got one guy coming down, and now we're forcing another guy to go from 2 weight categories down up. Now, obviously, he's not going to come in at 115, but, you know, that's still just kind of crazy. Kind of like Matt's match with Phillip. It's like a crazy, random, but it isn't, because these guys have had history, and it's understandable why. I've always kind of thought of Dave as a larger version of Todd Hutchings. In a lot of ways, it's that full hand top roll, prioritizing side pressure. I could see it go either way, honestly. I'm going to give it to Dave 3-2 because a lot of Todd's matches are kind of split points and he ends up coming out with the win. But I think Dave, as big as Dave is, actually, if I'm going to say Dave's the winner, and if I'm saying Dave's the winner, it's got to be a 3-0 finish. Dave doesn't do many matches where he ends up lasting long enough to come back after losing some points. We'll go right in the middle of my previous prediction. We'll do 3-1 in favor of Dave Chafee. But if Todd wins, I will not be surprised. Because Todd, just like in the press conference, it's absolutely true. He lost to Prutnik, and he came back last year and beat Prutnik. He's lost to Rustam Babayev so many times. Came back this year and beat Rustam. I think he would have won that match. Just looking at how good he looked for that one. And technically he did win. But obviously whenever there's a injury that causes the match to end prematurely, it's unfortunate, and it's never really seen as a done deal. But I think Dave wins just because of the size difference. I mean, if Dave gets a good hold of Todd, Todd's defense isn't strong enough to put up a fight against Dave, I think. But again, if Todd Hutchings gets a hold of Dave, Dave is going to be in big trouble. It could go either way, but I'm going Dave Chafee 3-1. We'll go Brandon Allen versus Brian Shaw. Really interesting match. Straight away, I'm going to give it to Brian just because he looks more comfortable now. And if he is able to use that insane strength on the table effectively now, if he's able to use it, that's a really, really strong guy right there. Brandon Allen, undoubtedly really good, really strong, but at the end of the day, the King's move isn't a cheating move. It isn't a move where the person who engages it automatically wins. And the thing about it is, the footage we have from King of the Table when he was fighting Larry Wheels and he was in that King's move, it's strong, but he seems very uncomfortable with it in some ways. I would not be surprised if Brian just gets on top with the press or just with crazy strong side pressure and is just able to push him into the pad. I think that's what's going to happen. So I'll say Brian Shaw 3-0. We'll just go 3-0. Not 3-1, because Brian, I don't think, is going to be the type of guy who wants to win a dominant match, you know. I think he's going to be the type to make more of an entertainment value out of it. He's going to be... That's just what I get out of Brian. But I think Brian's going to win. But it's a good match. It's a really good match. Then Devin Larratt, Alex Kardeccia, right and left arm. Devin is so strong right now, I cannot bet against him. and I don't know why anyone would. I agree, Michael Todd and Rebecca Todd have been talking about it over and over again. Once you fight Devin, and you're really close to winning against him, the next time you fight him, you are a lot further from winning against him. Like, he learns and adapts, and if you come close one time, that's usually the closest you ever get. So I give it to Devin both arms. For the left, I give it to Devin 3-1. For the right, I give it to Devin 3-0. Easily. If he has been... And the thing about Devin's training with the two-handed arm wrestling, it's not under two-handed arm wrestling where his opponent is doing this and like just using bicep to pull his arm to the side. He is using straight and then over, which really overloads and necessitates pronation. Because if I have my hand here and my other hand is just peeling it open, like that's what's happening in a two-handed match like that. It is not pulling him to the side. It is ripping his hand open. Devin has been training to really prioritize pronation. Like, his arm is so strong right now. His defense is so strong right now. I do not see Krejci pulling through. I think it's a 3-0 match, right arm. 3-1 left because I feel like Devin will make a mistake or two and then lose a point. Overall, good event. I don't know if I'll buy pay-per-view because tomorrow is the last day I have at my job. And the day after is my birthday. So I'm going to be busy. And if I buy pay-per-view, I'll probably only get around to watching it after all of the videos actually start coming out on the YouTube channel. Which is why I'm thinking, why am I going to buy pay-per-view if the time I'm going to watch the pay-per-view will be the time when all the videos start getting posted anyway. But I'll probably just end up buying the pay-per-view so that I can have it and rewatch it at any time. It's a good card. Good card. A lot of newbies, but every match is interesting. Every match works. Least confident. I'm gonna start making this a thing where I talk about which match I think I'm most confident in predicting and what match I'm least confident in predicting. Most confident, Gabby Jocelyn. Definitely. I think Gabby is gonna run over Jocelyn. Not saying there's no chance, but Gabby is just too strong. I think she is just too strong. Then again, this has been the match Jocelyn's been looking for, so no doubt she has really trained for Gabby, for her small hand and her crazy side pressure. I just think I'm most confident predicting that one. 3-0 Gabby. Least confident in predicting Eddie Hall, Robert Oberst. There's no predicting that match, you know. But overall, really good card. I'm really excited to see it. Yeah, those are my predictions. Thank you for watching.